Thank you for being with us here on Thursday, May 11th, as we continue this ongoing conversation that Paul and I have. Thank you for being a part of it. So we're at the part in Matthew chapter 7 where Jesus says these words, and these words are jarring and hard to hear and can cause some concern. He says, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' will enter the kingdom of heaven, but not only the one who does the will let me start over. Sorry. Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father in heaven. On that day, many will say to me, 'Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name and cast out demons in your name and do many deeds of power in your name?' Then I will declare to them, 'I never knew you. Go away from me, you evildoers.'"
Well, that'll give you a little pause to shudder and think there, won't it, just a minute?
I hope so.
But I think it's important to understand the context, what Jesus is saying. It is indeed the will of the Father that we are all in the process trying to discern what is that will. I think we can answer that question. And how do we go about doing that in our day-to-day lives?
And that's part of what, last week we used a couple of words. We used orthodoxy, right belief, right? And the word orthopraxy, right behavior, or the practice of that which you believe. If you notice in the Sermon on the Mount, while Jesus is given a new law, right, or the fulfillment of the law, how much of what he talks about is about practice? Almost all of it.
Yeah, he sometimes talks about our words,
right? But again, that's about practice. It's about practice, and that's part of the tension that exists in Christianity is faith and works. The idea of what we believe and what we do. I would say in our Western culture, and I would say in particular in the Southern United States, we have made right belief superior to right action. And it can easily become, well, you believe A, B, and C, therefore you're good. Where we forget that it starts with what you believe, but if you don't live out what you believe, it does no good. Yeah. It's a hollow faith.
Yeah, I love that. Did not prophesy in your name, cast out demons in your name, do deeds of power in your name. To prophesy simply means to speak for God. I would hope and believe that that's what we say we're doing every Sunday, and when we teach, we're helping people interpret and understand God's Word.
Well, if we were to change this into our language of today, we may say, "Did I not preach in your name? Did I not teach Sunday school in your name? Did I not visit my sick neighbor in your name? And did I not work in the food pantry in your name?" And Jesus would be like, "But where's your heart?"
Yeah, what is the nature of the relationship that we had? Are you exhibiting that loving relationship, that forgiving relationship, that non-judgmental relationship? Are you living that out in the ways that you interact with other people in the world?
And were you transformed because of the relationship? Did it change you? Or is our Christianity merely something we ascribe to and never access? I could even say, is it something we subscribe to? How many streaming services do you have?
More than 4 or 5.
Yeah, right. And I know we've got more than we need. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, because it comes with the package, and whatever.
Apple TV.
Right. But if you never access them, what good do they do? That's probably a bad analogy. You can go ahead and shut me down on that one. But they all fall apart. But do you actively engage in a way? So the idea of being in relationship with Jesus is to be in such a relationship that Jesus works on you.
Well, then Jesus goes on to clarify and draw an analogy in this next part. Let me read that. It says, "Everyone then who hears these words of mine and acts on them will be like a wise man who built his house on rock. The rain fell, the floods came, the winds blew, beat on that house, but it did not fall because it had been founded on rock." Again, on the right understanding of Jesus, building a day-to-day relationship with God and with each other.
But it's not even just understanding, but on Jesus himself.
And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not act on them We'll be like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain fell, the floods came, the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell, and great was its fall. You see, it is so critical that we do build all that we are on the foundation of the rock, Jesus Christ, His Word, but then it's the building of the house. It's the exercising of that foundation. It's building on that on a day-to-day basis. It's the rock. Today is the rock. How am I going to lay this rock on this foundation so that it builds on the work that God is doing in my life in Jesus Christ?
Yeah, if you've ever seen a house that's foundation has gone bad, it's not pretty. And you have to do so much work to repair the foundation. Often it's not even worth it, and it's a complete tear down.
Tear down and start over. So
in order for us to grow, we have to have the right foundation. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah, in our Tuesday morning men's Bible study, we often have, really strong, great conversations. But we often try to put it in. So what is this going to mean when you go home and interact with your wife? What does it mean when you're going to go to your place of business and do your work? What is this when you go home and walk your dog and you run into a neighbor? How is it going to impact? I think that's what Jesus is trying to get us to do, is if this is the foundation you're building your life on, if this is the Word, how is that shaping your day-to-day interactions? How is it shaping your day-to-day conversations?
Yeah, how's it foundational?
Mm-hmm.
You like what I did there? That's pretty clever wordplay.
So we're nearing the end of our time for today. Again, as always, thank you so much. We'll be back to wrap up, believe it or not, the Sermon
Another
on the
week.
Mount
Yep.
tomorrow. Look forward to
thank
seeing
you.
you.